So before I start doing any energy thing, actually I should back up because he came to me a couple of days ago when I was planning to come visit him. And I already did do a few things with him, so I'll share that with you. But before I really do anything, I'm just going to kind of be here. And even at that, I feel him. He's sort of a Reiki cat. He's pulling Reiki energy in right away. So I'm just going to sit here and allow him to do what he wants with the energy. Cats are so super sensitive to energy. A lot of times I may not touch them, or I may get the sense to stroke one hand and help them feel the energy moving around the body, but keep the one that's really, channeling it to, off the body, because they are very sensitive. He's doing great. I've never met him in the physical realm before, but a couple of days ago he did come to me, and I did this matrix energetics exercise where I imagined taking the esophagus and the thyroid out, and I dipped it in water. I was checking for any leaks or holes, and I just really wanted to clean it like you get a corroded engine. I just wanted to really clean the gunk, degrease and clean the gunk out of the esophagus, and the way the esophagus kind of pushes into the thyroid, and then also the way the muscles go into the jaw and the teeth. And so I did a little something with that, or not so much did, I played with and observed that with him. So I'm just curious if you might have noticed anything in the last couple of days that was different with him.
Unfortunately, I was so tied up with my husband's injury, I haven't noticed anybody.
And all the other animals on the ranch.
Yes.
So, which
Sorry.
is fine. And I'm getting just a lot of pulsing in the shoulder and just a lot of heat that's coming through. And I gave him the special rose quartz pyramid, which he might have just now noticed and had to get his scent and his energy on it. All right. So he does seem to like this, so I'm going to ask him, while this Reiki energy is running, would it be okay to dip back into the matrix side of things with you? And right as I said that to him, he's telling me I'm seeing ghosts. So I think there's a lot of beings in this little area with us right now. And as he's said that, I'm hearing the high-pitched sound that I hear when our spirit helpers are around. So, do you want to come over here a little bit more towards me? Can we show the audience the other side of your body? Okay. All right. Thank you. Hi. All right. So as we were preparing for this session, he was asking me to run frequency 17, which deals with the physiological structures of the body. A lot of times I see this coming as a Rubik's Cube, and I'll imagine playing around with all of the colors and the pieces until there's a color setup that he likes. And when I do that with him, I just get all gold. So I'm just seeing all gold, all yellow on all squares, sides, except for the very bottom of the Rubik's Cube is red. And it just wants to drop in right in the middle of the back where we see the furs rising up here, and it just wants to go straight in his body, and then it clicks in. And then I'm attracted to the whole right hind area and the right kidney. And I'm hearing 2-point frequency 12, the kidney, and 2-point frequency 12. Okay. And tons of heat just built up right there. I almost feel like he might even want to be vocal for a minute. Now, cats can tend to lick or chew or yawn. They might turn and just start licking, physically licking their body when they release. They might just kind of shake their head. Sometimes they'll swat their tail. He just wants to receive. He's just very happy to receive. So let's see what else he wants. He's really tied into the fairy realm. I don't know if you've noticed that at all, but I hear like little fairy spirits with him. Right as I said that, a fly is coming closer. There it went. All right, I'm going to go down my checklist, and I tend to want to start with the frequencies first. I don't know why, that just works for me. Frequency 6 comes up. That one can clear ancestral patterns. It can take you back to like birth or in utero issues. it can go throughout the genealogical tree there. So he said I twisted my neck coming out the birth canal, and I just feel like I landed on my back. So I'm reversing it. I'm hearing reverse scalar wave pattern, and it's almost like watching a movie backwards. It's just rewinding and replaying. And right then, like 3 springs of torque go out of his spine. And something about 12. I know we just did a frequency 12, but I hear like either 12 years ago or age 12, but 12 as far as related to the age. And that's very significant. And he's showing me again a little pull right here. And then when I say that number 12, I'm getting like throwing up, or I'm getting the chi that kind of comes in, hits the chest, the sternum, the diaphragm, and bounces right back up. So does that make sense to you at all?
Yes. Do you want to know the story?
You feel free to share the story.
So I fostered him at 8 weeks of age because he was having breathing problems and he couldn't keep food down. It kept coming back up.
Ah, good.
And so what happened is, it turns out, is what he had was what's called a persistent right aortic arch. And this is a band of tissue that forms during development in utero around the esophagus, right at the top of where it meets the heart. And so what happens is, it's so tight, food cannot pass through the esophagus down to the stomach. So it sits in the esophagus and pouches out and ferments, hence the name Mr. Gurgles, because he gurgled in his neck. And so he had to eat a liquid diet until he was 6 months old, until he could have it fixed surgically.
Wow.
Yes.
So that all tracks and makes sense. Now, normally, if a cat wanted to get up and walk away, I would let them. But because he's in a foreign environment where he normally isn't, and we have some things we don't want him to get into, I brought him back. But it's very common for cats to want to get up and move. So a lot of times, this is one of the reasons why I came out with these charts, these chakra charts. And I have, it is a multi-dimensional tool for healing and communication. But I can continue to use this picture as a surrogate or a reference, and if I wanted to track energy or work with organs or bones, or just play and draw different patterns in his aura, I would continue to do it on a chart like this. I can also ask certain questions and do a lot of tracking and clearing through that. The other thing I'll often do, because I'm normally working with most animals by phone, so I'll be using this, a photo of them, or I will take a stuffed animal. And I will literally start moving things on the animal and touching them, two-pointing them, doing Reiki, doing whatever pops up in the moment on a stuffed animal. And then oftentimes the person on the phone will say, oh, he's purring, or now he's rubbing on me, or now he got up and ran around, and same thing with the dogs, or now he's yawning. So that's something to look out for. But I really, with all animals, but in particular with cats, I really just want to honor how sensitive they are to energy and vibration and frequency. And I just allow them to do what they naturally want to do. But we're going to ask him just to kind of stay close and contained. And for a cat that's never even been in this room, in this environment, he's perfectly calm and settled and happy, so I'm really pleased with that. Now he's asking me just to come back to the Reiki, so I'm doing that right now. And he says, observe the silence. So I'm going to be silent for a moment. That's hard to believe, but I'm going to. And purple. Okay, so we're doing purple silence. And he says, watch your breathing, both of us, all of us. So we'll breathe in purple. And again, I'll try to be quiet. And then yellow. Yellow's coming in. He just told me he loves his job taking care of you. Now, you might think you've been taking care of him all these years, and there were times where he really did have to get in there and take care of him. But he says he loves his job taking care of you.
And he actually does take great care of me. And then one other thing I wanted to tell you, because you mentioned the thyroid, he's hyperthyroid.
Oh, okay. There you go. And I get green and smile. I just want to put a band of green. Today's color is green. And I just want to smile all around the thyroid. I look down on my checklist and the word archetype comes up, and I'm hearing field hockey. So I don't know if he likes to go out and play his own version of field hockey, if he has an area roped off where he can go and swat things, put paws down holes, but that's what he's calling field hockey.
Okay, well, he helps me with my makeup every morning, and he knocks everything around and knocks it on the floor, and anything I put up on the counter goes on the floor, and he bats it, so that's probably his field
hockey. All right. And I just heard prenatal. Again, that kind of relates back to the birth trauma in utero stuff that you were talking about. I said anything else, and we need to go prenatal. And I'm just seeing, I'm hearing, I want to say zygotes, and I'm hearing about cell division. In fact, I think that's what this motion is that I'm doing. It has to do with cells dividing. And I'm hearing cells dividing properly. You know, I feel like a band of angels want to come into the hind end. And they're doing some sort of stitching right here. And I had mentioned earlier something about like we could draw the energy. I said we could use, you know, you could do it on a piece of paper, you can do it in the aura, you could use a surrogate, but I just really feel like I want to sort of redraw the energy. So what would that look like? So I'm just imagining on a piece of paper, I'm drawing what his energy looks like right here. And now I'm going to plug into the highest actually, before I do that, there's a piece of him that's out here that needs to come back in. The highest aspect of him and his team of angels and guardian beings. And now the room gets fuller and bigger, and we get more pink light in here. And from this place, like it's so full, I can't even come over into him anymore. I need to sit back. And now what does your energy look like if I were to draw it differently? And now I get these big, smooth waves. Whereas before it was kind of bouncy and chaotic. And it's much taller now. I'm not so close to the body. But now I just see these beautiful waves. Nice. And he says kisses. Lots of kisses. Just kiss my face. He wants me to reach down and kiss him. Hi. Thank you for being a good little demo. I was just about to go under his chin and do the scratch I do with my cat.
He usually likes it.
And right as I started to get there, he said no. Ooh. And I think because the energy's still working there, and there's like this big bulge thing here, and he's like, so he just kicked me out of there, so I listened. I respect that. Yeah, okay. Is there anything you want us to know? If I were to give you a microphone, Mr. Gurgles, tell her how much I love her. Oh. And I just want to rub on your knees and feet, and I just want to, you know.
He's so great.
Yeah, just tell her how much I love her. Again, I just get this idea of time traveling back before birth. And like as I'm unwinding that experience, it's unwinding the umbilical cord. I'm just unwinding. I'm seeing a lot of yellow coming in. Now, earlier when he said just be quiet and then gave me the purple, he also mentioned and yellow, and I was just whispering because I was trying to be quiet. We see how long that lasted. All right. I'm just telling him how much I love cats, how much I admire his strength. I'm telling him he's a young 17-year-old and how he looks amazing. And how I appreciate how nice and calm and patient he is coming to a whole new place and experiencing a whole new form of energy. And now I do feel a little tight and constricted here and the heat going here, and it feels a little bit like a sore throat feeling, you know, when it first gets inflamed. So I saw like a sore throat lozenge going down, but he said it was liver flavored. So I'm imagining, you know, a cherry cough syrup one, and he was like, no, 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 coat it in liver. So I said, of course, we'll do that. And then I'm getting a beautiful blue color going down in there. And I'm also tracking this dyslexic pattern in the energy field. And it is right here, so I'm seeing a whole figure 8 infinity sign, and I'm hearing run dyslexic pattern. And then I get the 12 again, and I feel like that's all that he really wants. And then he's asking for the Reiki again, just to seal the deal. Now, have you done Reiki on him? Because he seems to know or understand the Reiki seems very familiar to him.
Not intentionally, but I have had one Reiki class, so maybe
he's pulling it through. He sees it in you. Because he's like, oh yeah, I know the Reiki. He says this other stuff is good. I'm just going down my checklist to see if there's anything else I want to do. And I don't really feel a lot right now. He knows how to process emotions, and that's one of the things he does, and he does it well. You know, so we can take it in like a little Pac-Man, process it, and he knows how to release.
Because nothing ever phases him.
Yeah, and that's probably why he knows how to not hold on to things. He just loves everything, and that's where I feel like he doesn't need a lot. Just want to see if there's anything else over here, any open-ended questions I'm missing. He says dolphins. I get the dolphins. And I get the I feel good.